Go on then. Oh, I'll introduce it, sorry. I'm really my brain hurts so much. This is like the worst thing you could do with a hangover.
He's looking really
come to a sports hall and listen to the long run at 1 million decibels. You're sweating.
You've gone all pale.
I mean, I've missed live music. We've not missed it this much. Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 5 of the Straight Razor podcast. This time live from a sports hall in Rayleigh. Woo!
Why are we in the sports hall in Rayleigh, you ask?
We are joined by the long run local legends.
I'm really excited about this one. I'm actually really excited for the fact that I had an excuse to get out of the house. I had something in the calendar, and I got to come and hang out with some good mates of ours.
The only thing you had in your calendar was to brave Morrison's and punch some nans and
avoid the high street for a week. But we're really excited to have the long run on here. What we're going to try and do is have a chat. We'll get them to run through a few songs that they've got from the history, right from the archives, and we're going to sort of give you a history of the long run, because when you're seeing that Peterboat stage in the summer rocking and swinging and the crowds are all going wild and everyone's loving it, it's really nice if you can have a bit of context and understand where this band has come from.
I think it would be interesting, seeing as that people can't go to any of your gigs, boys. It would be cool if maybe those sort of people that might just rock up to the folk festival and see you stomping up and down on the truck, maybe this will help them get to know you a bit better than just the boys that make it stomp, you know?
I mean, you must have really knackered the suspension in those trucks.
Yeah.
But I suppose we might as well start with the long run. Were formed in 2005. You got Darren Jones, you got Gavin Jones, you got John Corden and Ryan Love, and they've had a number of releases, and we're really excited to get to it. So should we bring them in? Would you like to say hello, lads?
Hello.
Hi there.
Hi there. Do you know, it was really funny because I was on the Sunday that would have been the folk festival. I went down to Old Lee, and it was really horrible. I stood where the truck would have been.
Yeah.
And it was
air
like,
guitar as well.
Yeah. I could feel the ghost of Darren Jones in
The ghost. Was it horrible because of the weather, or just because it?
It was nice. It was just horrible that the event wasn't on, and it was a ghost town. Really, it was really not that busy even. Yeah. So and it was like 6 o'clock. You know, it would have been ending, and so it was pretty.
How have you guys been finding it? I mean, I know you obviously you gig quite prolifically through most of the summer, especially. How are you finding it?
Pretty poor, to be honest. Obviously, we gig all the time. It's been bad not playing, but also for quite a while we weren't able to see each other, which is one of those, things that you've seen each other for every week for the last, say, 15
you think you probably
years.
to the long run probably do 2 gigs a week?
Sometimes two gigs a week, yeah. Not too much, because I heard what you said about it.
Don't overexpose yourself.
Oversaturated.
Yeah, we've done 100 gigs for 15 years.
I would say the long run are the exception to that rule.
Well, I think in a way, if anything, though, you guys, where you have gigged quite prolifically locally, you've done it in such a way where you've actually built a following, whereas I think in the context that we were speaking about in the previous podcast, you end up just sort of playing hit and miss places everywhere and nobody really knows what they're going to get, whereas I think now any long run gig is packed out every time we've been there.
Yeah, we're like
sometimes.
Yeah, so, we still get the odd one where we turn up and it's us, but it's good to get a following. Like, it's probably about last, say, 5 to 6 years we're getting a good following. Obviously appreciate everyone coming. It's really good.
Yeah, it's taking time, isn't it? We built it. It's like there was times when we felt like knocking it on the head and thinking what was the point really, but it's all paying off now.
What do you think changed that though? The fact you just kept going?
I think so, because literally like you were saying on your last podcast, there were times we would drive home in the van, penniless, like less. We had no money, and it was less money. We're coming home with less money than we had. I don't know what it's like. It was like minus, like, and then we couldn't park. So then we got fined for parking. We got fined for I don't know if the congestion charge it, because our old van was breaking all the rules of emissions, and then. And then you get there, and then he's like, they know that you're a rock band, and it's like, oh, the stage is the size of a stamp. It's like, oh no, boys, you can't have drums, it's acoustic, you know. Anyway, my point being is we drove home, it's like, you know, we always talk like we're doing now, we chat and bounce off each other, and there would be a few times in the van, it's like, no one said a word. Not a thing.
It's horrible, isn't it? That awkward silence when you're coming back.
You've got classic FM on because you can't dare hear any drums.
Well, we would listen to Bob Harris. He was still on at some point late at night, wasn't it? Oh my God.
Well, you boys know what it's like gigging in London, don't you? You know, it's
pointless.
It's more, it's way more hassle than than the payoff. You know, 9 times out of 10. So, yeah, those early days when we were sort of up there gigging all the time, and it's kind of, you know, what's the point almost? But then we took it more local, didn't we?
I think we realised in the end that it was always like you said. London, get out there. That's where, and it's not there. It's not them days of, oh, you know, it was a completely different world. It's like, you might as well in your area do as well as you can, then take it somewhere, venture out. But all that promise of this is the best venue. Elvis Costello played here. It's like,
we've had that.
Oh, all that.
Was one place it was like the promoter said, you got to play here because Elbow have played here and Noel Gallagher drinks here when he's in London. And this is where all the A&R guys come to hang out. And but you got to sell 30 tickets, and if you don't sell 30 tickets, then you got to pay it back. And it's just a load of nonsense because if you approach it from the way you guys have, where what's the point of trying to build a following up that's 60 miles away when you can get a good crowd and have a really great gig just in your hometown or locally. I
think, and also, which I guess looking back, what you boys did, and you know, it was like we were proud of you, is that you were going on the back of support things and that. That's where it's at. If you're going to try and. Otherwise, if you're going to go to London, sometimes we didn't even play to the bar lady or man. Yeah. It weren't even the dog. The dog weren't there. There was a few times we would just actually, right, boys, just disappear. Yeah. Bye. Where did Long Run sound check? Oh, they've gone. Yeah. Oh, how do you know that? We see him on CCTV hanging on the gate trying to get it open and get out.
We did saying a bit strategic, where, like you say, we go to London, we play all these gigs, and you play to no one, and you're writing all your own songs, and you think, you know, you would get the odd good gig that was any good. But then we sort of thought, we could start playing pubs, and we could play 90% some tunes we like playing anyway, and we'd play 10% of our own.
And no one would know, really, because your tunes bring the same sort of vibe and energy. So. Yeah,
we sort of like kept them on the same vibe. But even, like, to be honest, the people running the place, we used to say, we're going to throw a few of our own in. And they used to go, yeah, that's all right. Yeah. They weren't bothered.
No.
Sort of, and
you're just filling the entertainment slot for that evening.
Yeah. So we started building out then. But, yeah, all the funny stories of when you go to venues and you go, we're the band, and they go, okay, you sit up there. And we're like, what, in front of the pool tables? Yeah. Are you moving the pool tables? No. And you'll play.
And people will be playing pool. And
With a TV screen behind your head as well with a football on. And,
many like, say, you know, what I'll get to, but many gigs before, like, we would go to the gigs, and like me and John would be normally standing together, Darren would be on one side, Chubbs in the middle, and me and John would just be watching the football or the boxing or something, and we're like, oh, look at that, and we're playing.
Autopilot,
It's funny though, because I think when you get into these conversations with other musicians, like what we're doing right now, you can really moan about the whole process, because the whole process is actually a huge pain in the arse the entire time. But then something like this happens, where we're in this lockdown and you're told you're not allowed to do any of these events, and you instantly miss it.
Oh, and it's like character building.
It's like an abusive relationship. You just keep coming back. You know?
It's hard, and you know, as a pain as all that was, you know, all the London gigs and the early stuff. It's like
loved it.
You still, you know, like we say, it's hard work sometimes, but you love it, and it's character building. And I think they're the things you remember a lot. You know, sometimes the just good gigs kind of blend into each other almost, but you can remember every single specific thing about all of those ones where you're playing to just the dog or just the walls, or, you know, they're the memorable things almost.
I think you have to do those ones to say that, I've done that. and you know what it's all about.
Yeah.
Otherwise, in
Earn
the
your
back of your
stripes.
mind, you always be thinking, "Oh, I should have gone to London because that's where it's all happening."
Because it's funny. Like people sit, like you say, they see us on the Peterboat, and like we headline a show. The last one we did at the regatta, like loved it, and like sort of, I say new fans of us, or you know. They come and they go, oh, you must love it. You've always been this, you know, you've always like been up there, and you must headline everything. It's like, no, pretty much sort of 8 years ago, we were all doing the same thing. It's just, you have to build it up. But yeah, it's all those days though, what kept it, I think, is that we all just stayed together. And it was about the gigging, but it was about seeing each other as well. And that's why
I think your gigs always seem like a social occasion to me.
Yeah.
What I was saying in the one of the earlier podcasts is that I like. Well, I said one of the things I missed most was like coming to like a long run gig, because not only is it you turn up and you watch a band and it's like great live music, but you sort of just hang out and have a beer, and it's just nice. You know, you almost with sort of like your mates instead of going along and seeing a band and doing the whole band thing.
Also, what I like about when we hang out is like you get a bit of muso conversation in there, which I like. You go, that feel was good.
When we were setting up earlier, I was having a good old chat with Ryan about some Zeppelin beats.
We can pretend that we know what we're talking about for a bit.
He's incredibly sort of technically minded and trying to explain to me on the triplets and the quartets or whatever the things are, and I'm like,
he's an inquisitive soul, old chap.
Yeah,
so like Joe said, you formed in 2005, and that song we just heard was Billy the Kid, which you said was one of the first songs you ever actually sort of got all the way through in one take then.
You know, it's like it was like I say, there were songs before it maybe or around the same time, but that was the first song that was like, cool, this is one of our like big guns. You know, like, and ones, you think how many songs have come and gone since, and we about a few years ago we started doing that one again, and we played it like first time after years, and it's like, man, that's heavy, that's so cool. Like, it was like, who were digging your own.
The riff is just like,
Have you changed it at all, rearranged it, or is it the same?
No, I might have changed to be able to sing it a bit better and things like that, but no, it's pretty much the same. I think I remember we sent it off to get reviewed once, and this goes to show, don't listen to reviews. Don't go there. And we sent this and a few other things, and they said and it does. I agree with them. They said it sounds like the start of like a kids' TV show. But at the time you're like,
I'd watch the fuck out of that TV show.
Yeah, but at the time you're like, I was thinking we were Led Zeppelin. It's like, no, it's actually like a Thundercats tune or something.
The solo was a recorder, weren't it?
I had a recorder on it. I wanted like a weird flute sound, and I could play recorder.
Well, then maybe they were right then.
Well, that was quite cool.
That was cool, but like Darren said, and like again, like you said in your last podcast and that, you remember you want to get reviews, so you want to get a little bit of an idea where you're going and that, and you send off, and they send like send £100 to get back 5 reviews. And I remember, and like you said, like we're all kids, like we're not kids, you know, but like £100 is like £1,000 to us now, you know what I mean? And we sent the things off. We all go round John's, have a cup of tea, and we're all sitting there opening a letter, and I think we started a website and we put our influences are Rolling Stones, the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Dr. Feelgood, blah blah. And I think on the first heading was, so is most people's. Change it up, do something original, blah blah. And we're like, we've just put a recorder on a song, surely.
And you paid for that privilege as well.
Yeah,
that's like.
It was like the first one, you know, you're rubbish. The second one, you're mediocre. Third one, you should. And then we're like, oh, that's a shame. Like, just rip it up, go upstairs, and let's do Billy the Kid.
That's like paying to have a woman tread on your bollocks, says.
Oh yeah, and like you say, management, like with your story about going to see managers, John and Darren, go, you know, I could do something for you. Just you need to scrap all your songs and re-record them with me, and it'll cost you $5,000.
Yeah, shave your head, dress how you do. You know, it was all like.
And then we'd get you a gig down the park.
Yeah, but going back to that song, like I mean, we that was like right early days of the band. When me and Johnny, we played it. we used to be a three-piece and we were on different instruments and that. But yeah, so that was one of the first ones. But people seem to like it because it was memorable, you know. Our thing was at the time to write memorable stuff, which is still the case, but now we can sort of think, let's be a little bit selfish and be like, hold on, if I want it to have this big bit in the middle, I'm going to. But obviously, we don't, you know, on an album it's okay, but as in one of your big songs, you know, but... Yeah, oh yeah.
It's nice when you can get to a position where you can start to...
Yeah, I think people trust you.
Yeah, you don't have to write with the audience totally in mind every single time.
Yeah,
you can actually say, well, no, I'm going to lead you down this little route here, and we're going to put flutes and recorders and stuff like that on guitar solos.
We never put a recorder on anything.
I mean, next week, panpipes, who knows?
Yeah. That's what's cool about Led Zeppelin, though, is that, you know, you get the straight rock stuff that everyone likes, and in the albums you get these weird moments of, like, what are these, even in these instruments, you know?
Well, they are recorders on Stairway, ain't they?
Yeah, exactly.
See? My 17-year-old self.
It was Stairway. Billy the Kid is Stairway, you're right.
Canvy's answer to Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
That's it.
We'll take that. We'll have that.
Oh.
What song do you want to do for us next, boys, then? So if we're looking at a chronology of the long run, if we're talking about a little timeline, what would be the next tune you'd like to do then?
This one, so we've done Billy the Kid, and then this one was another one in our armament, and it's almost quite nostalgic for us to play it, and this one's called Homecoming Light. So the little story behind this song is when we used to come home from gigs, also not just with this band, when I used to play with my dad, we used to play in all the working men's clubs up in London and things, so I cut my teeth through all that, and my dad used to, so it's sort of like my dad used to drive the van and I used to sit in it, and Johnny was in the band and that anyway, and we coming down Essex Way, you know, at 3 a.m, you've driven from London. Well, no, we wouldn't be. Why would we coming from Essex Way? Oh yeah, no, we might. I can't remember.
Canby Way.
Took a wrong turn.
No. It was Essex. It was about Essex Way. Maybe it was a gig not in London. Maybe the other way. Anyway, but it was about coming down Essex Way. And you know when you can see all the cranes and the lights, like when everyone goes, oh, all the cranes are on, they're not on Canvey, they're, as you know, they're in Corringham, It's Corringham, on the other side. But you could, because it's so clear, you could see all the lights, and it was Homecoming Light, and there was a big, still there, the big chimney with a flame on it. Yeah. And then coming down, and I remember waking up, you know, because I was knackered, and I go, there it is, and I was like, the Homecoming Light. Have that, so.
It's genius.
Yeah. Genius.
Coming from the evening with the sound of rain. Everywhere there's reflections. The distance creeps
love that when the songs end, the whole room, the sound is insane.
Oh yeah, it's fucking.
It's like
Oh,
It just goes from this big sound, he goes sucks straight back into it. Like, okay, you're in the room again.
epic.
But I've got a story about that song
Let's hear it.
because it must have been 2006 or 2007, and I think Darren, you were teaching Liam bass.
Oh,
Around
yeah,
about
I
that
was.
time.
Yeah,
Liam,
yeah.
the bass player,
Liam-
who was in the end.
Yeah, he was learning bass. Darren was teaching him, and Liam put me onto you guys. Was like, oh, check out their MySpace because that's where we were. At the
I
time.
remember. Yeah.
Check out the MySpace.
Yeah.
And
We sound so
we'll
old
try and
now.
catch a gig that's coming up. And I think you only had when I heard it was only like 2 songs I think you had on MySpace.
Yeah, yeah.
And one of those was a recording of that.
Right,
of that
right,
song.
yeah.
And so that's the only one I knew. And we were going to head down to catch you at the Lobster Smack.
Yeah.
Upstairs at the Lobster Smack. But then last minute Liam couldn't make it. But I was like, I'm still going. So I sort of wrote my dad into it. I was like, right, you've got to take me because I'm only like 14. Like, they won't let me in. So we get in there and it was like the first proper live band that I saw, like probably paid attention to, and I knew this one song, and like I didn't know anything about live music. I didn't know how gigs worked. I didn't know what was going on really. My dad's sneaking me half pints of Carling Shandy sort of thing. I'm getting there. Oh yeah, this is great.
What a memory.
And it was, and then I'm waiting for this song coming up, but I remember just being blown away because that was the first time I heard drums played loudly in like a small area, and I remember the feeling of the toms when you're hitting the toms like in your chest, the bass of it in the chest. I remember thinking, holy shit, like I need to go and play drums. It's like whatever happens, I have to go and do that. Like that was the first thing.
That was a quiet kit as well.
Christ almighty.
That is a small room though.
I almost completely forgot about that until I think you played that song fairly recently at some other
Yeah,
gig,
yeah.
and it all came back to me, and then like that feeling of like hearing drums in a room, I was like, oh yeah, like that's like you forget that that's the thing that you really like about music. But I was waiting the whole night for you to play this song, and eventually you played it, and I was like, shit, like, and I knew all the words. I was really into it.
No. I didn't know that, Joe.
Yeah, it's nice,
And
mate.
it all sort of quite, it's always going to call it serendipity, I suppose, where it's like, I'm like, oh yeah, really into this band. And then like, eventually you sort of end up becoming mates and seeing them a lot
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
But, yeah, at the time it was just like, oh shit, cool
Well,
band.
oh no, that's nice to hear. Old Liam, like your bass player, he I used to, like I said, little thing. I used to go around on my push bike, giving guitar lessons because I had no money to get to college or nothing. And but he was out of them, like the only one who actually pursued and went on to like, you know.
It was
Being a
funny
band.
because we'd started a band at school, and I played drums, and there was another guy that played guitar, and there was another guy that sang. And then was walking back from school one day, and Liam said, well, I'm thinking about learning guitar, but I know you've got a band, and so I might start to learn bass. And I was like, what's a bass?
What's a bass?
Like,
Yeah.
what do you do with that?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, Green Day have got a bassist, and Blink-182 got a bassist. I was like, okay, if it's good enough for them, then go
yeah.
ahead with it. That was it.
Well, in the end, with him, I actually said to him, and it's very rare I've had to say this to anyone. I said, Liam, I said, you don't need lessons anymore. Oh, I said, you can play. Because he was playing, I was like, fucking hell, I don't know how to play that.
He learned
Like,
so quickly, didn't he?
Oh, yeah,
Really?
he learned. But then he wanted to learn. He said, well, can I learn guitar? So I was showing him stuff on the guitar. I was like, you don't need lessons. You don't need... I said to him, not knowing about, bands and that, I said, like, go and start a band, go and join a band. He said, well, actually, I have got a band. I went, have you? And, yeah. So, no, it was like I felt guilty taking the money because it was like just going around like with Johnny or the boys and just having a jam.
Yeah.
I'm not showing it. I'd show him songs like we show each other. So, but I didn't. He knew what he was doing straight off. Like clever little bastard.
It was always the most talented one out of all of us, I think.
He just picked it up really quickly. That's what I remember. We're just being like, I'm slaving away trying to just keep it together on the drums somehow. And then he's like, oh, check out this thing. I learned Californication last night. I just taught it.
But also, within the context of our band, he was, especially if you look back at like, the early stuff we did, where we barely knew, like we weren't even listening to each other. Do you know what I mean? Like, we weren't even listening to what each other were playing. If I listen back to some of those early recordings or whatever, Liam is so melodic and doing things that I never would have thought to do or suggested to do ever. but he'd already had that ear.
It was literally the glue.
Yeah. He's
I'm doing my own thing. Everyone else is doing their own thing. So
I think that's what's worked well with us is we sort of had respect for each other's corner. Do you know what I mean? Sort of listening to each other and sort of. And we've learned. I wouldn't say. I guess we learned. I wouldn't say learned how to play. Got better, improved on it. But I mean, on my part, singing wise, was the hardest thing because I didn't really want to sing. It was like.
But you needed to. Is that what?
Well, we were trying out. I was actually on the drums, like before, like it properly. We were going to do what we were going to do. I was on drums, and me and John would be bloody. Playing like as loud as this in his bedroom. Like, I'm on drums and he's on guitar, and we're like, yeah, we're gonna be like, and like, yeah, let's audition for a singer. Like, and we tried, and the problem is, or it's not a problem, but because it's just how it is, I'd be the same. Is obviously singers, especially at that age, wanted to create their own songs, and trying to find someone with the same vision was very hard. So that was that. So in the end, it was easier to find a drummer. I say, but like, we knew some drummers. So then I was on singing and playing bass, and me singing at the time, I thought, you try and be this or emulate that, try and be David Bowie or something. And then when you listen back to it, you think, oh, what a tosser. Like,
so how old were you?
Got to try.
How old were you when you was trying to figure it out and put it together?
Singing?
When you started the band?
We. What, 2003?
Well, yeah, it depends where you want to start it from, because when we were, same as you guys, like when we were at school, like when we were kind of 15, sort of ended at the end of school, we started playing together, like like in the bedroom, like more, because we'd known each other since we were babies, but that's when we sort of said, well, let's start a band. So that was when we were like 15, 16, and then like Darren said, obviously he was on drums, so we kind of went through various like lineups to begin with, like Darren on drums and, getting different people in.
So it's 2005 when Ryan joined then?
Yeah. 2005, 6.
So how did you meet Ryan then? He's obviously, you three knew each other from childhood, especially you two. So how did Ryan, because they're brothers, you make that clear.
I didn't know him that well.
No, I got bad memories of Gav. I remember because Gav was obviously like the bigger brother. So, when we were young, like when we were, kids, Gav was like the big man, boss Darren around, and if I went around there, it'd be horrible to me. And I can remember phoning up, asking for Darren, and Gavin used to answer, and it'd be horrible to me down the phone. Do you remember that, Gav?
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
I like that term, being horrible as well.
He was nasty. But we knew Ryan through John Love. So Ryan's older brother is, because Ryan's a tad younger than us, Ryan's brother John, he's more our age, and we knew John, who played in
Purple Sticks.
Purple Sticks.
Whoa!
They are local legends.
There's a blast from the past.
Yeah. There's Jordan Barnard, Gary Toomey and John Love, Purple Sticks. And
Castleview's finest band.
Only band.
I used to go to the gigs to watch my brother, and actually before I even knew who the Long Run were, I heard them at Chinnery's. They were on the same lineup as Purple Sticks, and I heard them play Billy the Kid in a sound check.
As a free piece, was that?
Yes, yeah, it would have been. I think Darren was on bass at that point, singing, and then it must have been just over a year after that. I got a phone call, probably on a Nokia 3210. To see if I wanted.
It's a car telephone in the car, in the car.
I was 15, nearly 16 at the time, yeah. So, and I just remember cycling home as fast as I could to beg my dad to buy me a drum kit from anyone he could, because I didn't have an acoustic drum kit at the time. And he did. He sorted it out.
So you could be in the Long Run, or was it because you wanted to be in a band suddenly?
Well, I was already playing drums. So I've been playing drums about 3 years, and I was just like, this is it. This is my chance to get into a band and play drums in a band. And and because obviously the link that my brother had, I was like, they've got to be all right. Desperately tried to get hold of a drum kit. Dad sorted it out because I couldn't have afforded a drum kit at 15 years old. And turned up terrified with these older boys who'd been playing in the band for ages, and set up my drum kit and played. And
So that was me in our band, that was, because I'm younger than everyone as well. So
It's intimidating.
yeah,
It must be
is
intimidating, especially if you're coming into a band. It's all right if you just sort of figure it out and then go from there.
And I had never played in a band before, so I jammed with my brother, and my dad played and stuff at home. So my brother's a bass player and guitarist, and my dad plays guitar and bass and stuff. But I'd never played in a band before, and came into this studio. And then we finished up, and then I think the next day I got a text or a phone call from Darren saying, can we rehearse the songs on this CD that they gave me again? And then the following Friday we were playing at Chinnery's. They didn't actually ever tell me that I was in the band.
It's funny because I used to drink with his brother, and I'm pretty sure I was in the sunrooms, when the old sunrooms, I used to go there a lot, and we were upstairs drinking, and I asked John Love, and he could still smoke and all that. So it was like it was almost like a scene out of a film. It was all, I could just see him across. They had like, I think they looked like garden benches up there. They probably weren't, but it was a big wooden table. I could just about see John Love opposite me. And it was dark, and I was drunk. He was drunk, and it was smoky, and we couldn't hear each other. I went, "Dre, your brother played drums." Yeah. No, and I got his, but like he says, but no, that what was funny as well, he came to the rehearsal, we sort of, we were nervous as well, it's someone new. And we said, well, what drum beat do you know? He said, this one. And we just rehearsed everything with that one drum beat, either fast or slow. We're like, we can make this work. We can make this work.
Play it half time and do it slower, then faster.
That's it. And even the ends, on the endings of the songs, we would like, even to this day, it's like what we always, a little thing here, it looks like it's me or one of the boys like ending it. And we're not. It's like, I go like that and everyone, oh, look, they're all following like one of the guys. It's not. It's always, and one of the first things we did at the rehearsal was like, when we do an end, we don't just let it fizzle out. Let's all finish at the same time. I said, hit the snare, and then we stop. It's like, okay. 15 years later.
But that's the thing is though, like everyone goes, oh, it's so tight. It's like, we did that. Just hitting the snare and then all just stopping.
If you finish the song tight, it almost works backwards on the song. Makes it sound tighter in the whole tune. It erases the memory of any sloppiness that was previously in the tune.
Start together, do a little bit in the middle, and end together. Sounds great.
You can walk about in between. That's fine.
Yeah, do it. That's what me and Chubbs keep it solid. Darren and John do their bits over the top, and then we finish together. Done.
We'll get round to where Gavin got in the band in a minute.
Oh you'll love that story.
You'll like that,
you'll love that story.
What was lovely about Ryan though, I mean, you know what some drummers were like, and especially then because we used to rehearse in my room, like Darren said. So
we got some stories.
Full drum kit going. So we, as me and Darren as the three piece, we went through various drummers. Like we even did like gigs with some of them. Like there was a few guys we played with. And when we used to rehearse, obviously the cymbals in your bit, like it was so loud. And drummers, a lot of them just smash, and they smash. Even if they're great players, just smash. But Ryan wasn't like that. He was kind of obviously still hit. He's only young then, but still hit him hard. But it was like nice that he just played with us.
Oh yeah,
and,
fits into the tune.
It wasn't like
not trying to keep up with the drummer.
No, not doing
terms of volume. Yeah.
But the best bit about the first rehearsal with Ryan was we did a few songs, and it was great. And great, and it's obviously obvious that we could all sort of got on and played well together. And then I think Ryan went to get a drink or something outside, and we were all like, what do you think? And Darren went, oh, it's big, isn't he?
He's a big 15-year-old, so he looks all right. He looks the same as us.
I remember Ryan. It's one of those things that's ingrained in my memory. I can remember him walking through the door, and obviously he's, what were you, 15? So 15. So he's 15. I can remember him walking through the door and just like looking up and being like, oh my God. even then he was massive. He was like just so, like tall and.
I was probably 6 foot or 15. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I think you're taller than me. I think you're bigger than me then.
Did that help towards getting gigs in pubs? Did that make it a little bit easier?
For the most part, yeah. A few gigs, the pub owners ended up finding out from punters how old I was and things, and we didn't get too much trouble because I wasn't drinking. So it's the same as having someone collecting glasses or something, I wasn't drinking because I was drumming, but we had a few hiccups.
There's a few stories.
But for the most part, no one knew or cared. I mean, like I say, it's not like I was causing a scene or anything. Just there to play drums. So
I think the main thing with him was that he was like, I know it's going to sound really stupid, but he was polite. He wasn't like just all out for himself, and was sort of like a blank canvas. I know it sounds a bit arsehole maybe, but because he hadn't been in a band, we'd been playing with my dad and had a few. I'd been playing with people and that, and it was nice. We thought, well, if he's into what we're into, we can help him along. But like going back to like what Johnny's saying, we would try drummers out in his bedroom. And when I say we're talking like a little. Well, it's a good big bedroom, but to rehearsing a little bedroom, and. We had this one guy, and he come in. He's all eager, and he's like, "Oh, cool." And we said, like, Johnny had a drum kit. You can use. You ain't got to bring. Just bring your. I'm going to use my cymbals and my snare. So, well, that's fair enough. Well, so we're chatting, and as we're chatting, we're going. So what we're thinking, and he's going, "All right," and he's tightening his snare up, and literally we go. So what we're thinking, and he go, "Whack!" Like fucking, and he go, "Oh yeah." And you go, okay. And you carry on talking, and you go, whack, like rimming the fuck it, like fucking. And we were like, does he know he's doing it? Does that his own arm doing that? And then when we got we said, keep it down because we're in a bedroom. Well, we started, and I'll tell you what, we finished the song, and my ears were ringing. The guy on the drums, and he was a great drummer, like he was good. But
Freebird, I think we did, didn't we?
I think we did, yeah. And it got faster and louder, and he was the drummer.
A bit of a big tune to test out drummer.
Only the end bit. And the geezer, he was sweating his nuts off, and then we finished. I went, yeah, it's really good, man. But like, we're only in a bedroom. You haven't got a like. I mean, the volume was like us at the end of a gig. I'm not exaggerating. You don't have to play that loud. You can tell. Oh, right, man, yeah, all right, yeah. And he did it again. And he was even fucking louder. And then by the third song, we were like, okay, right. What would it? Oh, we finished. It's like, yeah, wasn't it? It was honest. I just wish I could somehow make you understand how fucking loud it was. And then when Chubb come along, it's like, oh, this is so nice. It's like he's with us. He's with us.
Yes.
And it's like, yes.
There's a difference, isn't there, between you got a heavy drummer who hits hard and solidly, but there's still space in between the notes.
Yeah,
That's a good drummer. You got some guys, and I was guilty for it as much as anyone else, but where you try to hit as hard and as loud as you can, you're actually getting faster and faster and faster.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You're hitting quicker because you're trying to make up for what you're doing, and so then you end up, there's just space. We were talking about this earlier whilst you were setting up.
You used to play cymbals as much as possible. So instead of like letting it swing, it'd be like...
I'll be doing like everything
like
all the time.
On a crash.
Everything all the way through. Whereas actually you want space, especially because what you've got going here, you've got like a really solid, you've got a solid bass and you've got a solid drum sound that sort of lock in together really nice.
Rhythm section.
Yeah.
Rhythm, that's the word I was looking for, yeah. The word was there.
Are you a drummer, Joe?
You got the guitar with the lesson strings, and you got the guy over there with the things, and you got this guy over here. He sings something, but you got this sort of like really solid thing, but you don't need to be overkill with it, which is I think one of the really nice things about watching Ryan play is just that there's space where it needs to be space, you know. But then every so often though, you put out some sort of bitching drum solos.
Keep talking about me, guys.
He likes
that
it.
song you just did is a really good example of your playing, I think, because it's like, proper solid rhythm with really melodic guitars, and then when you're saying you're all together, then you two start doing Thin Lizzy guitar harmonies that, that's as together as you can be, really, isn't it? So,
well, we used to talk about you got a kick pattern where it's just thump thump thump, but like you sort of really lean into it and it comes really heavy. We used to nick it for some end songs. So we're like, okay, this is the bit where we want everyone to dance, so like we're going to put that in there, and they're like not try to go anywhere else other than just like thump 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 all the way through. And it's interesting when you pay attention to that, because it almost like it steps up a notch and it gets louder, and it's like, especially the size of that bass drum anyway.
Yeah, it's interesting how dynamic, because we can really feel the kick drum where we're sat here. You've got a dynamic playing on the kick drum that's really interesting.
Yeah, no, it's important, especially when you've got a 26-inch kick drum. You have to use it correctly.
It's a lethal weapon.
You got a license for that 26-inch kick drum?
But that kick drum, like I don't know what you could. Some people call it like 4 to the floor type thing. I don't know what you call it. It's simple. It's so effective in the right used.
But it doesn't. The nice thing is, like what I was saying before, is it doesn't speed up, because like during the lockdown, I've got an electric kit and I've just started playing. I've got a playlist and I just play through it, and there's a couple of your songs on there and whatever. But when you try to play along to it, how I would normally sort of like lean into something kind of means it might step up slightly speed-wise, but actually, if anything, you sort of almost go slightly behind the beat, which is really interesting. And like when you see the crowd, like people will sort of respond
exactly.
to that.
So if you're judging it on the energy of what the song's trying to do, is sort of, I don't know if this is your sort of idea with songs like that, is that you have like a consistent beat that you nod your head and sort of feel it like that as an audience member. And it's a bit like that Dave Grohl moment when he talks about writing, what's that song he talks about writing in Back and Forth, when he says, I wanted to write a song that goes da 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 da, and he said he wanted to write the song at that speed and that tempo because that's the speed of people jumping up and down when they see a rock band. So he stood up and jumped up and down, and then he went, okay, that's the tempo, so let's write a song that goes a bit like that. And that's a bit like a lot of long run songs have that energy, and I think that's why, a part of the reason why it's so enjoyable to watch you play is that the songs actually are the same sort of speed as your natural rhythm to nod your head and enjoy it and feel the beat.
People can dance and not die.
We always wanted it to push. We wanted it to push through, and sort of the especially with the drums, like the bass drum, like right from the off, we were like, want that bass drum coming through the floor, like, and it sure does. But like, it's like wanted that, because obviously some people, they're more about the backbeat and the snare, and cool. But for us, it was like we needed the push, and that's the bass drum.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah,
but everyone's got their own different way. That was always our vision as such, and it's sort of just become, it is what it is, really.
I think you've perfected that over the last few years, and in terms of, I think that's definitely the main theme of you now.
Well done, chap.
Well done, everyone.
Thank you. You got me out of a lot of sticky situations. I even apply it now. I'm like, what would Ryan do?
Nothing. I don't think anything that's effective can be too complicated.
Yes.
And that's a perfect example of it. And it fits with what we want to do, so we use it.
Good Britishness there. I like that.
Yeah. Keep it simple, stupid. People love it. I think we're about ready for another song. What do you reckon?
Yeah. Well, so this next one is off of an album that we worked really hard on, and was like, we're going to get this printed nice and everything. So this is the title song from the album. This is called "Showed Him How to Dance." This one. So this is it was just an idea I'd had, and then Johnny took it and did his thing with it, and. It's quite a poppy song, I suppose. What's quite weird is that the chorus and that, we'd always done like verse, chorus, or whatever. Yeah, I know we still do. But like with this one, there's like 3 verses, then a chorus. It's like, cool.
Mixing
wow.
it up.
Yeah.
That was great.
So that was Show Him How to Dance, which is what album was that off of?
That was called off the album Showed Him How to Dance.
I see what you mean though with the three verses, because it really sort of, when the chorus kicks in, it's a lot louder and a lot really punchy.
I normally sing it a bit better than on there, but I've not sung for months, so I'm a bit like.
I think it's amazing. I can't believe I'm actually watching people play as a band.
And it's all one take as well, which is the first take.
Too right.
And it's one take as well.
When was the last time you played that song then?
Apart from the vocals, which is going to dub over later.
Yes.
Overdub that later.
I'll dub over later.
Yeah, when do you reckon the last time you played that was?
2000.
Oh no, we did the Railway, didn't we? They had a Railway. Was it last summer?
Well, when
God,
you did the
yeah, you recorded it.
That was over a year ago now.
God, yeah.
So that's that's a long time not to play a song, and then to have 3 months off playing together anyway is pretty intense.
Just pull it out of the bag.
Yeah.
So we found out we've sort of got along in the story here. So we've got Darren and John, and Ryan's joined the band. But Gav, how did you end up? Because obviously, if you're family, then was it always a sort of a musical match made?
No, nah.
Were you horrible to him again?
Apparently so. I was apparently horrible to Darren and John, but I don't remember that.
I do not recall to that.
Yeah, I do not recall that. But anyway, so Darren and John, they were mates, and they started playing music.
Were mates.
Yeah, we're now family. But so they were playing music. They would play music in Darren's bedroom, and John would come round, and they played football in the garden. And like John probably said, I probably to get out of my way or something. But anyway, so then obviously, I'm 18, 19, 20, that age, and then all, pretty much I'm with all my football friends and going out clubbing and doing what most people were doing, do you know what I mean? All that kind of thing.
Were you playing bass
No.
at this point? You weren't a musician in any sense?
I did. This is the funny story. Like I say, our family's always been music, and I didn't rebel against it as such, but...
Well, it's only Dad. Would say the whole... It's just Dad, isn't it?
Yeah, Dad's side, and Darren and John, like that. John's always been sort of like part near the family anyway as well, so, John was playing music. And I just didn't. I was all about, football, cars, just the normal stuff.
Bloke stuff.
Yeah, geezer stuff, but nah.
Lemon squeezer.
Gav used to... he had a lot of talent in different areas. Gav used to look like a cross between Sting, like in early 80s Sting, and David Beckham.
Oh, the wrestler? Actually,
yeah, because
the early Sting
looked like Sting, didn't he?
Yeah.
Sting did look like the other
Sting did look
Sting.
like
So he
Sting.
used to have spiky blonde hair, like the studded earring.
It was just a bit, at the time, like Darren and John would go, like, Gav, have you heard of this band like David Bowie and the Spiders from Mars? I go, nah, but have you heard of DJ EZ? And they're like...
I hear that influence quite heavily, I think. I think you can hear that in your latest single.
Yeah, and he'd be like, no, we haven't. I go, it's really good, You get better anyway.
Did you almost think the stuff they were into was weird?
I just looked at it as like, you sort of look at it as it's just not what I was into, like when they're picking guitars up. It sort of stemmed from school, to be honest. They had when they were at school, they had like quite a good music teacher who was like, this is electric guitar. And this is a bass guitar, and this is drums. Oh, and by the way, a band like called Led Zeppelin and Kiss and blah, 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 they did this, where we had, here's the musical fish that you rub there. And here's a
guaywo.
Yeah, and here's a rain stick, and all that kind of stuff. And this is a Casio keyboard, and I'm thinking, they make watches, that kind of thing. So, but anyway, so... I weren't playing music or nothing. I get to about 20, so they've been playing for quite a while. I watched them at a couple of gigs, sort of like what Glove said. We went up London once, Covent Garden, and they played, what was the play, Covent Garden? Soundgarden, weren't it? Soundgarden. They did this gig, they did their gig, 3 of them. And I thought, God, that's like really good. Like, you know, you're on stage and all that, and there's a bit of a vibe with this. So anyway, I didn't think nothing of it. And then one of the funny stories, so they were 3-piece, then they had a member leave, so it was only two of them. So obviously, if you want to be in a band, I know it's a bit different now with Royal Blood and that, you know.
Yeah, so they were the White Stripes for a bit, were they?
We were more like Bros for a few months.
Yeah, so it's a bit different now, you know, but at the time you had to have three of you know, like Cream, 3-piece. Anyway, I've been out clubbing, drinking and all that, and I'm laying in my room, and I get a knock on the door, and it's Darren and John, and they knock on the door, and they're, Gav, and they're like a bit older now. I'm like, yeah. Any chance you could come and put a jacket on and just come and stand in some band photos for us? I was like, why? It'd be good, like, if you can. And I didn't play no music, any interest in them, or like, you know.
How old are you here then? So you're 19?
I'm still I'm 20 now. I'm sort of 20. What are you, 17? 17. So we're getting a bit, you know, we're getting.
So you hadn't picked up an instrument till, much?
I picked bass up at 21.
Wow.
Yeah, 21. But so anyway, yeah, so we went to Lee and we had these photos. We still got the photos. And yeah, it's like Darren and John and me standing there and all that. And then...
Because it was... the picture was for our demo. So me and Darren did a demo, and it was the one with that Billy the Kid recording on it.
Oh, right. Oh, that one.
Yeah, that one, the infamous one, and it had a load of other songs on it. But because we were sending it away to try and get some gigs,
so you wanted to look like a band, a fully
exactly
fledged band.
Like Gav said. Obviously, just with two of us, duos weren't the in thing then.
Yeah. But so even though that they, you know, it's like those early demos are sort of like that Billy the Kid there, massive song. And they're playing all the instruments and that, but they just needed like
some
geezer to stand there and like, you know, take the praise of this amazing bass player that I still can't play.
Did you do the picture where you got the singer with the microphone, the drummer with the drumsticks, and you got guitars? Did you have to hold the bass as well?
No, I did have to hold any bass. I held it like a cricket bat at the time. But anyway, so yeah, we did that. And then, John and Darren were still like in the garage in their rooms playing and that, and I was hearing it. And then the first band I got into, I remember I said to Darren, and like it's mental now, I said, you ever heard of the Beatles? That's how far away I was from music, you know what I mean? And I said to Darren, I went, you ever heard of the Beatles, this like #1 album? I might ask for it for Christmas. And he was like, yeah, the Beatles are quite a big band, you know? And all that kind of thing.
They from around here, do you reckon they're from... Ben Fleet or something?
Yeah. I was like, why is it called #1s? There's like 28 songs on it. And it's like, because they're all like #1s, yeah. But anyway, so...
And it was Jimi Hendrix, wasn't it?
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix and things like that. Just obviously the way John played guitar, because like, I heard Darren play guitar, bit different than John played. And I was like, Dale, like, who plays like that? And then he showed me Jimi Hendrix, and then he'd get into a bit of that. I was like, oh, right. Anyway, but basically, bought a guitar, this violin, you know the Epiphone violins? They look like the Hofners, don't they? Them Epiphone things. Bought that, played with John and Darren. Again, similar to Chubbs, didn't know all the notes on the bass or scales or anything like that. Just learnt Billy the Kid, learned all these songs, and it was about 8 songs, and it was like, yeah, we got a gig at Chinnery's. I was like, oh, okay then. But to be honest, you're all nervous and everything, but the first gig, it was like hooked. And I like the attention as well. The attention is great. And the thing is like, what I like is that I'm a bass player. I love the attention, love the vibe, love everything around it and that. But then I could just stand in the background. I just like Darren, John, or even Chubbs, you know what I mean? I just go...
I've started to play bass in almost every band now, and I much prefer it to playing guitar, because I think guitar, you're too up front, you're too loud, you can't hide or enjoy. I'm not finding myself enjoying the groove. I love being the bass player with the drummer. It's great. Massively. You know, I would say about me enjoying it. Like I say, that first gig, up to like sitting in this chair, never regretted anything. Loved every minute. The best ever.
ever can be like its best. It's great, and these 3 months have even just cemented that more. But obviously, playing bass and you know the drummer, getting that groove together and the way we play together, because like 9 times out of 10, like I've had a few times, like we did a song called Call Me Out, and like, I don't play the bass line like the song, but me and Chubbs just getting a groove in that. And we had one person come up once and he said, "Oh, you played Call Me Out, didn't you?" I went, "Yeah, that's right." He went, "No, I'm really looking forward to it." We played it and he come off and he went, "Yeah, you don't play it right." I was like, no, I don't, but it don't matter. I said, "Yeah, we had a good time." But obviously playing with Chubbs, because I played with other drummers and that, and you sort of, I get, it's the same, similar, but me and Chubbs have got saying, and then obviously with Darren, he's my brother. So it's a bit...
I guess we were both quite, like Dale said, about blank canvas.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, Chubbs is right there.
Darren and John has sort of forced you into their band.
That's what... No,
moulded you how we wanted you.
Well, the other thing...
And we'll continue to do so.
Well, the other thing, what was the... it is like the Beatles joke, because you know when they say, oh, you know, Ringo, yeah, he's the drummer, but he's not the best drummer in the band. It was like, they used to go, yeah, no, like, your brother in the band, yeah, he plays bass. He ain't that great at bass, but he's awesome van driver. But I used to drive the van, but obviously...
Was he the only one who had a licence?
I was the only one who had a licence, and he was just
you're
a
in
bit...
the band then, you?
Yeah, no, well, that's the thing is, it was all, like, a lot of people now, they go, oh, you know, I'm learning, I wouldn't mind getting in a band. I look at the way my was, like, we learnt a few songs, we had a van, I had a licence, we drove the van, then we were out gigging.
I suppose you learn as you go, don't you, with that sort of thing?
Yeah, still learning. John said to me many years ago, like, don't ever think you've mastered anything. Just always, like, strive to be better. And that's what I try and do.
Just to add to it's actually Johnny for Gavin being in the band, because he's my brother, and knowing at that time he had no interest in nothing but drinking, clubbing, cars, and ladies, obviously, yeah. And then when he started playing, and he went to me, "Oh, do you reckon you could show me how to play Hey Joe?" I went, "Why? Why? You don't, you know."
That's my thing.
Yeah. Well, so I showed him, and then he was doing well, and he played. And then John went, "Ask him to be in the band." I went, "No, he's not interested. He won't do it. He won't do it." He went, "No, go on." I went, "Well, you ask him." He went, "All right, then." So, and there we are. But because of, like, you know, and that's not a put down. It's just a different world. I was a younger brother, you know, it's all. But it's worked out all right, yeah.
Yeah, it worked out good.
Yeah, the van, then I took over the van duties and Gavin had to learn bass. So.
Yeah. And then there's a period where it was a drunken mess. There's many ups and downs, but it's been good. Been amazing.
I think continuing with the sort of vibe that you guys bring, you started getting all this old equipment, because I'm looking at, you know, what you're all playing, and you got big 26-inch Luddy set up, Bonham-esque drums. You got a PV Classic 30, HH guitar amps, HH and WEM PA. You know, a nice Ashdown, the Gibson SG bass. I just wonder, when did you start? Did you always have that vibe of like, let's go for like the 70s pub rock equipment band style, or that seems to be something you've sort of really gotten into recently, you know, especially picking up the WEM PA that you play with all the time?
I think we always wanted it, didn't we? I mean, all of my kits have always been old, and although we had modern PAs, it's only because they were the ones we had. We didn't buy vintage ones, or didn't have the money to buy vintage ones.
Yeah.
But we always had that sort of thing, didn't we?
It's from my part, as I've got older, I've got more, you know, like with me, how I look with me, you know, well, I've still got hair and that, but, you know, long hair and that. I always wanted to be a bit, you know, didn't strive to be, I'm going to stand out. I want to be different. It's just that I just wanted long hair, and it's the same. As I've got older, it's like I give less of a fuck. So how I dress and how I am, and also with the gear, it's like, well, I love the late 60s, that rock and roll, the classic rock vibe, you know, in the early 70s, and it's sort of it's come over into the look. Again, with your podcast, you're saying about having a look. We always wanted to have to be just a little bit different from the person watching you. You know, because you're there playing the music. There's always an argument. Bands like Oasis at the beginning, they just come in like they've just come out like after getting off the couch watching the telly, and they're one of the most like renowned bands ever. But so it can work both ways. But for us, it was trying to find an image, say. And then as it's gone on, from especially from my part, I thought, well, let's try and, you know, Chubbs has always wanted the John Bonham setup, and he got it. It's like, fucking hell, like, you know. And the kit he had before was classic, you know.
I think it's just, yeah, it's everyone we like is either from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and we like, yeah, myself, I like 90s, Oasis, all that kind of thing, but like the Wem speakers you see like in Rolling Stones gigs.
Yeah, and the Zeppelin, that's all you ever see, isn't it? Yeah,
and like Darren's got Strat, John's got Strats, he's like Buddy Holly and Telecasters, you know, other things, and yeah, Led Zeppelin, and like my bass, I used to play Fender Precision, but I was saying to Darren, I was going, look, this Cream, this Jack Bruce plays like the same guitar Eric Clapton's got, I want one of them, and then you get one, but It's just, it is all about the look. It is about the money as well.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, my amp, I got this. I used to play with a PV Heritage that my dad gave me, and I played it for years, and it was great and everything. It looked cool, but it went down. And I thought, well, I always wanted an amp like Wilco Johnson plays. I thought he's got a good sound, so I got one of them. And then as for the PA, if you want to call it a PA, the top bit, the actual mixer bit, my dad bought cash converters for like 15 quid or something about 25 years ago to use as a monitor mixer. So that was separate from the main. And then it sat in the garage for all them years in the damp. And then I said, I remember we got one of them. And I bought that. Then I bought the amp that goes under it, the slave amp. And then I bought the speakers that go with it. And then these Wem things. Yeah, so it's all like, to some people it's old toot, but to me it's like got history and it was good. The only problem is it's fucking heavy.
Yeah, lugging that thing around, yeah.
But it all adds to the vibe.
It adds to the vibe.
I think the sound as well. I think it's got that kind of, it has that sound, especially like, you know, you can't move away from the fact that the drums sound big, you know, and the wood and all the stuff that goes into all that stuff, it has that essence in it, doesn't it?
I actually quite enjoy it. It sounds stupid. I'm about 20 years down the line, I might say different. I actually enjoy lifting it. It's like, for me, it's my workout, and then I'm ready to play, and I'm like, ugh.
But then when you load it out,
it's like, oh my god, and then you load it out again. Yeah, anyway, yeah. But no, so that's the. It's not, and it's not even with the PA. It's not a thing of, because we've had people kind of go, oh, you got a right vintage sound. What, distorted, underpowered, like. But you know what I mean. But like, it's more just because of the look, really. I was thinking about maybe changing the speakers, and if I really went into it, you could take all the innards out of that, replace the speaker, and it'd be a modern, like a car. You know, like you get, you know, you got the shell. But I thought, what's the point in that? You know, it's loud enough for what we do. Any louder, then we're playing. You're doing the sound.
Exactly.
I think, are we about ready for another song? Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Let's
do it.
So, just a quick thing with this song then. With this album that it come from, we sort of for a long time we were trying to do, this would be our second proper album. For a long time we were trying to get this album recorded and trying to get it together, and it was hard and that anyway. And anyway, cut a long story short, you know, we managed to pull it all together, and this album become like, wow, like we know exactly how we sound, and this is it. And then from there, so this is what, it's about 5 years old now, is it, maybe 4 years? Yeah. So anyway, this one is called Gliding Ships. It's like a folk-esque.
Lazy in the breeze, the drought it feels.
And what was the name of that album?
That was called Travelling by the Clocks. That's the one with the black and white photo.
Would you say that that's the sort of? I know you were saying that that's where you said like the sound all came together, but I think like maybe the image and the feel of the band as well, because I think you said before the picture.
Yeah, I think. Like probably about a year before that, it was started getting a bit better, like more people and people enjoying it and that, and then then those songs were written.
I think as well just the overall, like before we again going back to your podcast, it was like we had, and we still do, we like, you know how Blondie they did a lot of different styles, and we've done a lot of different styles, but like with the one before, it's like nothing sort of matched. Whereas this album, didn't it? It all sounded bang on in our eyes, anyway.
It all just with time, with time as well. So we're all getting a bit, we were sort of like around 25 to 28, that kind of age. So we're getting a little bit of money,
Well, your own personality becomes more solid though, as well.
Personality, obviously, comfortable talking to people. The look. Like we all sort of got to our own look where we were like, we all grew our hair and then we all had beards and we sort of that kind of thing. Then the clothes, and then our style, and then like the main thing with it all, I think with that, it was the photo. Don't want to use the word iconic because we're not, but what I'm getting at is like for the long run history, everyone. How many times have people seen that photo?
And you look like a band in that photo as well.
Yeah.
Like you see that, you go, okay, they're clearly a band. They're not just some sort of random dudes that are standing in there.
It wasn't just pictures of you stood in the field.
It's not someone's brother who's been corralled into standing there with a bass guitar.
We didn't just go down. You didn't just go down the seafront and take a snare drum and still stand there awkwardly.
Well, like we put, like I say, when I say the money thing, it's just. Like that photo, we had you see the photo on the album and the pictures, people are like the posters and that. But like that was, I remember saying to Darren Old about this photo idea, and we passed it with John and Chubbs at had input, and we got it all there. And he was like, yeah, great. It's £100 for the reel of white paper though. And you're like, what? Yeah, you have to pay like £100 for this reel of white paper and things like that just to get the.
For the background, wasn't it? The white.
Like back in the day, if someone said you got £100 just on a reel of paper, we didn't have £100, But it all went, and then the songs, and then obviously one of the songs everyone seems to really get the vibe on, like you say about bouncing. That album had Train on it.
Well, I think I'd like to talk about that song, if that's all right, because I've brought people along to your shows and said, like, even if you hate the venue and you don't like anything, just wait till you see that song. It's like, if you could bottle that and use it as some sort of aftershave, that is like the essence of a live show. I would be wearing that shit all day long, because it's like everything, no matter how bad the gig might be going in terms of sound or crowd or whatever, but when it gets to that point in the set, you've got them in the palm of your hand, and I've seen it time and time again. It's just by the end of it, it's explosive. You almost got some sort of like Baptist preacher kind of vibe going on. And I listened to this morning because I thought I would like to talk about this song, but it's a Hendrix song, but you would not know it. I listened to the original this morning, and aside from the lyrics, but even that arrangement's completely different as well.
Because it's, I remember when we recorded it, we actually had because it's a Hendrix song, but even the Hendrix version is kind of based on, like lots of that style of music was, old blues songs. So it's kind of, even it's his song, but it's sort of borrowed from other stuff, a lot of it, or similar to other stuff. But when we recorded it, it's so unlike the Hendrix version. Like I remember like saying to Dan, well, should we just write different lyrics to it? Because it's essentially like, it's kind of, in some ways it's similar, but like, why don't we just, rather than having it as it's a Hendrix song and we do it our own way, why don't we just do our own song? Like,
if anything, that's quite nice that it sort of it carries on in that sort of blues genre. It's like you sort of going, I'm going to continue this, because he was still taking bits and pieces from other people and that sort of song.
So I'm glad we didn't. I'm glad we did keep the original.
It's very much your own song.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, it actually evolved, because what happened was I I was watching, it's that famous footage of him sitting in like it's just a white room, and he's sitting with his hat with a 12-string, and he's playing the acoustic, and he doodle-doodle-doodle.
Is that some of the only footage of him playing acoustic guitar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, there's not a lot of it anyway.
Yeah, only footage of an acoustic, you say? Yeah. Oh, yeah, probably, yeah. I guess it is,
only
isn't it?
2 bits of film of him playing acoustic guitar.
Yeah, but I was fascinated. I thought I'm going to learn that and put it in because I play on my own and that and solo gig. And anyway, I learned and I thought, I don't know what tuning he's in, and I put it there, open tuned it to D, and it was slow, and I did it. And because it's a little bit, there's no format, it's a little bit all over the show, I sort of put it into a format that I could play and play it in a way that I could put more of a rhythm. And I said to the boys, in fact, we didn't rehearse it, we just played it at a gig, and in every gig it evolved and got bigger and stupider and more epic, and then we recorded it on that album, and then even now, even that one sounds tame. So what happened was we were playing it, was no, like, that's the beauty of it. It's like you think when you go, we've got to play a banger, we've got to play like something that they're gonna bullshit, like no one knows, unless you're a Hendrix absolute nutball, no one would have really known that song. And then, anyway, and it evolved, and then the crowd were like, and that bit at the end when it's sort of like, all that, I just made it up, and then it become. I didn't sit there and think I'm going to write. It just become everything we did, even the guitar bits, all of it. It was just like, the double time.
You just wanted to tip it over
because that's the only place it can go after that. Because it builds it up and up and up, and there's only one thing it can do.
You got your cock out and slammed it on the drums.
Yeah.
Where could you go from there?
Could have given the same sound, of course.
Because I mean, even that double time just would have been at a gig. I turned around to him and I would like give him the sign of double time, whatever that would be. And he double timed it, and it's like, and it just got bigger. And now it's just as it is. We sometimes we make it longer or shorter or whatever.
Then the stop, weren't it? We put like
the stop.
We didn't have a stop in it, and then one gig down was like stop. And then John done his guitar solo, and we were like, "Oh, that's good. Like, we'll keep that." And then it just built. But it's
that's
just
probably a testament to where you were at that point. It shows that your musicianship had gotten so good that you could play live and not have to bang your head against the wall in the rehearsal studio to get the vibe.
Yeah, like that's it. All come as one.
Because during the whole lockdown thing, I've been going through. I've got thousands and thousands of old photos of us, because we've been going so long, and videos and things. And I found some videos of that when we first started doing it, and it's so different. Essentially, the main bits are similar, but like I say, all the stops and the bit at the end and like none of that's there, and that's just kind of evolved like naturally without saying. Right, I want to put this in it. We've just done it, and it's one of those things that. Yeah, and then you just repeat it the next time.
Isn't it? And
stops it being too formulaic. And
I really liked it when you headlined Stackfest last year, and I mean the place was just ready to erupt. But the whole gig, it was just I just have memories of it just being like sweaty and just people dancing all the way through. And then when you got to that song there, I was thinking. Maybe I should give the bouncers a heads up here because this where's this going to go afterwards? It was so much energy, and afterwards it's like it took ages to clear the pub afterwards because of you guys, because everyone was like, oh my god, I'm going to carry on drinking, and just the energy was up so high. It was awesome.
Yeah, well, that we were looking forward to that because it was on the island and we're all from the island. It was like, we own this place.
It felt very victorious. It felt very much like a homecoming. Like it was a really good. It was great as well to have you like headlining that.
Yeah,
as well.
Nice one.
A little nod towards that.
You had Slim Pickens on before, didn't you? I remember. Do you remember? I was a bit sloshed actually, and I was at the front, and I remember the bass bin you'd bought, and it, with that reggae stuff. There's a bit in their song, and they go. Is it deep enough?
So Slim Pickens is the band who are on. Slim Pickens are like a dub reggae band from around here, or maybe not dub. I don't really know the exact genre, but they're a reggae band from around here. And they have a bit in their set where they stop the song and shout at the Sandman and get him to turn the bass up. And I knew it was coming, so it was already so loud.
Oh, brilliant! He knew his gear.
So I knew it was, oh, well, they're going to ask me to do it. So I took loads of the lower end out of the bass just before we did that, and then I dropped it all back in.
Oh, very clever.
And it was like, whoa, like this huge bass explosion.
I remember when he played the bass, it got to the point, because it felt really bassy anyway. The bass, the waves were so low and slow that it wasn't going. It was going. I could feel the waves. I was actually moving. I was like, this is brilliant. But anyway, we digress. It's about us, not them.
Thank you very much, everyone. It's our last song. Thank you very much for listening. We've had a lovely, awesome evening. Thank you very much. And I know it's hot and everything, so... We're going to finish as we do in usual fashion with this song. This is called Hear My Train. Station, waiting for that train to take me from this lonesome, yes, this lonesome place. You know, a whole lot of people try putting me down. My girlfriend, she called me a disgrace, yes, sir. Station, waiting for that train, waiting for that train, waiting for that train, waiting for that train, waiting for that train. Take me from this lonesome place. Yeah, I know a whole lot of people try to put me down. My girlfriend called me a disgrace. Woo! Matches are burning me, 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 way down in my heart. Yeah, too bad we go, too bad we had to part. Woo! Yeah, go on in. Precious time. Ever since I was a little boy, I used to look up to the skies to see my name up there of all the big stars. I used to tell myself one thing, used to believe one thing. I used to tell myself one thing, I used to believe one thing. I used to say, I'm gonna be a big star and drive a nice fast car, have a nice big house, have a nice fast car, have loads of money, have a nice fast car, have a nice big house, make loads of money. And I said, I'm gonna buy this town, I'm gonna buy this town, had everything I wanted, had everything I needed. I'm gonna buy this town, gonna buy this town, gonna buy this town, I'm gonna buy this town, yeah. Had everything that I wanted, 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 had everything that I needed, had everything that I needed, had everything that I wanted. I'm gonna buy this town, 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 I'm gonna buy this town, 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 put it all in my shoe. If you're really lucky little girl, I may give a piece to you.
So let's talk about Higher then, I suppose. Should we? Because that's the most recent album that you've.
It's the most recent. The most recent studio album. Yeah,
yes.
we did do a live album that James had a little turn in as well. Well done. And that was a good thing. That live album is because he recorded us without us knowing it, and it was good because then you're not thinking about it. Like this, we're trying to obviously do well, but it's a bit seat up.
Going through, you're just doing the gig sort of thing, and you're not. Well,
really he went, I recorded you at the Lee Community Centre. I was like, oh, did ya?
He has a habit of doing that. So we've got loads of like bootleg live versions of bands that have gone through like Chinneries. I suppose we probably shouldn't say that.
Oh yeah, should say that.
But there's like bands that have gone through where he's sort of like, oh, record them, and so I've got like live sets that I listen to. I'm like, oh yeah, because he knows how to make it sound good as well. He knows what I like, and it's like, oh yeah, check this out. So yeah,
well, it's like no extra effort. It's all going in the same thing, just to click record. You know, it's no extra effort, and it's cool. Pretty cool.
But so our next album we did, again unknowingly, it's John's favourite album actually. I think all of you like it, don't you? Yeah, I mean, personally, I like the one before, but he likes it because it's got a lot of different, not different style, but different vibes, different, things. It's quite.
I think the first one we did, like you say, had some nice bits in it, but it was kind of all over the place, which in a way is, pretty cool, but
I think most bands' first albums tend to be a little bit like that.
Yeah. It was just so much. You know, there was a song about aliens on it, and you know, there was just like some crazy stuff on it. You know, like one song was like prog rock, one was like Delta blues. So it's kind of all over the place. Whereas the next one, the white one with a nice photo on it, that was like a. Everything went together. You know, like
when you are writing, do you sort of write, okay, this is going to be the next album, or are you just sort of writing songs and you go, okay, I like this song, let's make this into an album, or do you have the album in mind, as so to speak?
Not really. Nah, it's just kind of. It's more like we've never. It's not really. A bit of both, I suppose. Like we normally like after we've done an album, we then. Over the next months or year or whatever, we start throwing a few new songs in, and then it gets to the point where we say, should we record them for an album? And then we might obviously need a few more, so then we add a few more in that we sort of maybe write for specifically for the album. But
we sort of we do. We've all got songs in the back burner that we wrote. I mean, I certainly have got songs that I wrote years ago. I'll bring it forward. I mean, it leads us on to a bit when we talk about what we're going to work on next. Is actually probably for the first time we're writing for something, but we'll get to that. So.
Ooh, I can't wait. So, off of the album Higher, what song are you going to play?
Do you want to do Higher or Chinatown?
Either or.
Chinatown. I like Chinatown.
Yeah, we're good for that. Might as well try it. Yeah. This one's called Raining in Chinatown. It's about the rain in Chinatown.
I was walking through the soaking wet river, heavy weight on my shoulders. Had no intention of leaving alone, had no intention of going home. All the paper lights, all the friendly faces couldn't prepare me to fall. All the paper lights, all the friendly faces couldn't prepare me to fall. It was raining down in Chinatown on the night you let me down. Raining down in Chinatown on the night you let me down. Neon lights and the bicycles that flew on the way from leaving you. Hearing things that I couldn't understand, maybe know what I should do. All the paper lights, all the friendly faces couldn't prepare me to fall. All the paper lights, all the friendly faces couldn't prepare me to fall. It was raining in Chinatown on the night you let me down. Raining in Chinatown on the night you let me down. I'm standing in the soaking wet river, heavy weight on my shoulders. Had no intention of living alone, had no intention of going home. All the paper lights, all the friendly faces couldn't prepare me to fall. All the paper lights, all the friendly faces couldn't prepare me to fall. And it's raining in Chinatown on the night you let me down. Raining in Chinatown on the night you let me down. Raining, raining, raining. Ooh.
Awesome. Do we like that? Are we all happy?
That was great.
Oh, that was awesome. So, I suppose my next question would be, when it comes to songs, probably not that one about Chinatown, but I hear a lot of like references to sort of like the local area, Canvey Island, that kind of stuff. Do you think there is a sound to Canvey that you sort of tap into? Obviously, there is elements of Dr. Feelgood comes into every pub rock band that is involved, but do you sort of make a conscious effort to include Canvey and the local area into the songs, or is it just because you're sort of writing what you see and you're in it?
But me personally,
Well,
I have obviously a lot of different writers. You know, their subject. You know, it's the same with art. You know, the subjects are all different. Some people write as a protest. Some people just make stuff up. Some songs are just nothing. They're just words. But I've always written from experience and then changed it. I mean, even that Raining in Chinatown is a little bit. I like Chinatown in London. I go to the old Chinese New Year, and we took an album. One of my early things was an album cover in Chinatown. So, and there's a link to Blade Runner. I like Blade Runner. Anyway, that's another story. So, but no, the Canvey thing. I mean, like, yeah, I've written about Canvey numerous times. I mean, only the other day I was writing stuff and I thought, I'm going to write something, that'd be cool. Why have I not done it? So I've done that millions of times. But like, you know, without it being obvious. But that leads us on to what we're going to, our thing that we are working on for the future is, so me and John, we're in a folk band called Emerald Hill. And we do all traditional folk songs, and Johnny's written some original folk songs. I couldn't do it. Anyway, so that's that. Now with this band, we were thinking what we could do next. Because me and John do folk. We've actually introduced some of the folk songs, them traditional songs, into the band as well. So we already are quite familiar with the folk rock thing. Well, for our next album, I had an idea. Personally, I wanted to do like an album of songs about Canvey, an album specifically about the island. You know, whether that be your own experiences, landmarks, myths, tales, legends, history, and all that stuff. So I was going to do it. Then I said to Johnny about it. He said, "Oh, cool, that sounds good. I'd like to do that." I went, "Yeah, all right, we'll do it together." I said, we'll play the instruments. He said, I said, well, actually, why don't we do Emerald Hill? Might as well do it with a folk band. He said, I said, yeah, well, I want drums in it, though. We'll do our own, we'll play I said, actually, why don't we do it with a long run as well? So what we're going to do, it's like merging the two things together, which ain't that much. Because
that's great.
Because it's me and him in both things. So we're sort of, you know, so we're doing a folk rock album, folk rock, and don't let the word folk rock put you off. Some people hate that.
I think what I've seen with, because Emerald Hill it is kind of the traditional folk kind of music, because sometimes we used to get stuck with like just because it's an acoustic guitar and was it's folk. And it's it's not. But you do, and I was curious when you first started bringing some of those songs across to the long run, and I saw him in the sets. I was thinking like, would that translate? But it does. It works really, really well. And I think there's some sort of crowd favourites there with that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's really interesting that it's almost like a transferable thing to bring original traditional folk, and bring it into like an electric setting.
Some of it doesn't work. Like, but obviously we know what ones will work with a band and also, you know, the ones that we can do justice. Like, you know, within the folk world, the folk thing is a very funny thing. Some people have different ideas about it, and even different ways about like how you approach it singing wise. I mean, I don't sing like a folk person. If I'm singing folk, I might try and pronounce the words better because it's about the story. I'll make an effort to learn the words, you know. But so with the Canvey thing, I can't wait. Me and Johnny, we've written quite a few tunes about experiences and stuff, and I'm really excited. It's about thinking about the other instruments that we're going to bring into it. It's going to be like really exciting.
The thing about the Canvey is with us lot, like we're always, you know, we've always been quite proud and quite open that we're from Canvey Island. But you know, if you say like sometimes I'm from Canvey, you know, you get the stigma, but
you're always the underdog almost, and I like that.
We get.
But it's a stigma that I've never understood, because there's nothing wrong with Canvey. I moved to Westcliff for 2 years, and I thought, wow, this is really bad. Canvey, and you'd think like people think they get this stigma from Canvey. People look at you like, oh yeah, that's a shithole. But like the crime and the sort of problems that I had living in Westcliff, and I've moved back to Canvey now. It's insane the difference.
Yeah,
We always used to play up to being the Canvey band. He goes to turn out and people go, oh, watch out the Canvey. If you're like, I'm going to drink more than you, I'm going to shout louder than you, and I'm going to play louder than you, and I'm going to, slash your tyres at the end of the night.
it's just a good thing, but like
it's a strange stigma.
We sort of with the Canvey thing, we look at it as like, the seafront. The nice sea, the nice walk, the clouds and all that kind of side of it. We're sort of not looking at it as.
You're right.
Not looking at it like the stabbing down the dike. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing,
just looking at it different in general. Like you just said there, we must look at it. I think because if you've been brought up and you look at things different. I've had people when they come down, I go, it's really cool. You walk around the wall and you go, walk and they get it's just concrete. And when you actually stand back and look in front of it, you go, yeah, it's not Brighton Beach or Bournemouth, it's concrete. But there's memories and,
It's below sea level. That's you sort of go, well, that wall's there. And when you explain it, it's almost like, people go, what? How on earth is that? And it's like the skies seem bigger on Canvey. You look up at the sky.
Yeah, you're right, it does.
Is that because we're 9 metres below sea level or something? I don't know, it seems bigger.
It's just
credit for that.
Yeah, it's just a bit different, but
I think because
we've always been proud of it. But it's funny, like Darren says, look at that black jetty, and then someone goes, yes, it's just a derelict jetty. No, it's amazing.
That particular area, because with the lockdown, I've walked around Canvey and cycled around Canvey a couple of times, and that particular area is just so weird. Like the disused jetty, the road that is blocked off, all the hanging lamps that have all just rotted away, and
the old
so weird. And then when you if you walk around the wall and you get under Canvey Way and you can actually touch the road, it's just insane.
My favourite point is I love being down by the barge, or where the concrete barge used to be, down the point. I love sitting there looking out, but me and Johnny, we spent like years. Where John used to live was down Haven Road, which obviously got the lobster smack at the end, and we used to go down the lobby like all round there, and at the time it seemed like we were exploring unmanned territory, but like it's actually a gutter to see someone. You're like, he's walking his dog.
It's perfectly safe actually.
Get chased by horses and stuff like that around there.
Canvey's got such a interesting history as well. There's a lot of people probably don't even realise because it's obviously in the Thames estuary, which leads to London, so there's Roman history there, Saxon history there, and that's kind of this album that we're going to do. It's going to draw on tales and myths and legends and stories sort of throughout Canvey's history.
I like the idea of you seeing it through the lens of as well this history, but then through the lens of its modern historical significance in the pub rock band thing. I think that's a great lens to view it through.
Well, me and John I've been rehearsing with Gavin as well. We've been putting the stuff together, and we've actually got one song that we can do for you. This one is called "Jumping the Jetty." So, because when we were in school, it was like, and even our dads and your family. Oh yeah, we used to go down and jump off the jetty. It weren't until years later that the jetty they meant was the one near you.
Yeah, Chapman jetty.
Not the massive thing. Because if you jump
off the black jetty,
I was going to say, people go off that.
You'd kill yourself, wouldn't you?
It's like 20 foot.
So, but it's that nice thing you had is like. But anyway, and when we were in school, it's like they go all like the I don't want to say the yobbo kids but all of the kids who are a bit like it's like
the Avenue children.
Yeah. Well, you said it, not me. So me and Johnny would be like, we'll meet up later and we're going to play a bit of football down the street and annoy the neighbours, and then we're going to go down by the lobby, and then you'd overhear what all the other Herberts were doing, and they're going, let's go down and jump the jetty, we're going to jump off the jetty, yeah. It's like, they all talk like that, yeah. But anyway, so this is the song about jumping off the jetty, which I didn't do. I didn't have the guts. I'm not a very good swimmer either. And I'm a bit sensible because you could break your legs.
Don't tell your mama where you're going to. Go gather rest and meet this afternoon. Don't leave your courage, cause that is what you'll need. This is a test, a chance to sow a seed. Jump in the jetty is something we all do. Jump in the jetty is what you'll have to do. Jump in the jetty is something we all do. Jump in the jetty is what you'll have to do. But I don't want to, I don't need to, I just want you if that's okay. I don't want to, I don't need to, I just want you if that's okay. The time has come for you to take the lead. Don't close your eyes, it's a memory you must keep. Don't leave it too long, the water's nearly gone. Everybody's watching you and the time is getting on. Jump in the jetty is something we all do. Jump in the jetty is something you all do too. Jump in the jetty is something we all do. Jump in the jetty is what you'll have to do. But I don't want to, I don't need to, I just want you if that's okay. I don't want to, I don't need to, I just want you if that's okay. Well, jump in the jetty is something we all do. Jump in the jetty is something you all do too. Jump in the jetty is something we all do. Jump in the jetty is something you all do too. But I don't want to, I don't need to, I just want you if that's okay. I don't want to, I don't need to, I just want you if that's okay.
I like the energy of that. It felt like you were, because it was one of the first times you sort of done that. It was like sort of holding on for its life a little bit.
I like watching a band trying to like eye contact, figuring it out. Like, oh,
It's nice to see like the difference between the contrast between songs that they played today, of like ones that like you can almost play them with your eyes closed, the ones you haven't played in 2 years or whatever, 3 years, but you're still playing them like perfect, and then you're sort of all making eye contact and looking at each other and signalling. That's great. I love that. Right, we'll sign off now then, yeah?
Should we find off? All happy? All good?
Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much for having us. It's been really, really nostalgic.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for coming down and letting us record you and grill you and interview you over.
I feel like
everything.
we've provided the entertainment.
I feel like we've had a little personal show. It's really nice as well because we obviously we bump into you every now and again in gigs and stuff. But it's nice to be able to sit down there and dissect different parts of the story.
Yeah.
And because there's a lot of people who won't know the full story, and it's nice to be able to get into that. So thank you very much to the Long Run for having us.
Thank you, boys.
Thank you.
I've been Joe.
I've been James.
And this has been the Straight Razor Podcast. We're going to put all the links to all the band links in the bio, and you can comment and share and get in touch if you like the show.
I'd like to ask everyone to leave us a review on iTunes. Would be preferable if you can leave us a nice 5-star review. If you're going to leave a 3-star, just don't bother writing any review. So only write 5-star reviews. It helps the podcast grow and helps the audience. It helps us find more people if you do that for us. So thanks a lot. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Thanks for the Long Run. Cheers, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.